Good morning, Scotty. So today for our meeting on the couch, I've invited Miss Vestal to come in. This is Miss Vestal, and she's going to visit with us about McKinney Vento and what it means to be homeless. And so my first question for Miss Vestal is, what is McKinney Vento and what does it mean to be homeless?
So mckinney vento is an act that has been passed that we are required to follow. It is written for parents, not for schools, so that's something to remember. And it is something that will give the students rights for nutrition. In other words, they're automatically on the free and reduced lunch program. It gives them transportation. However, that's only to their school of origin, where they started before they became homeless, or to their school of attendance. Like if they were homeless and they moved to another school zone, then they can go to the school where they were at originally, or they can go to their new school. And then the next thing is enrollment. So we can help them enroll in either of those two schools, and they can just enroll immediately. They do not need any kind of paperwork. I actually help them get that paperwork.
I've heard stories.
It's fun.
So what does homelessness look like in Temple ISD? What kind of impact does it have on our kids and students?
So you can be identified as homeless for many different living situations. So whenever we think of homeless, we think of somebody that's living on the streets, maybe underneath a bridge or in a shelter, and those both do qualify. But there are some other living situations as well. One would be in a motel or hotel. And then the one that's the most common, actually, out of all the students that are identified as homeless, 80% are in something called doubled up. And what that just means is that they're living with another family. The other family owns the home or rents the home, and they're living with them. It could be in their own room. It could be on the couch. And a lot of our couch surfing families live in this type of situation. Mm-hmm. It's considered a temporary living situation, not something permanent.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what actions can we take as a campus to help our students who may qualify as homeless?
Very good question. So our students that are living as homeless, a lot of times they'll come in hungry, they'll come in tired, they might be moody. A lot of the reasons why they're living like that is they may not have a place to do their homework. They may not have a quiet space. That's something really important that people don't think about. If you're living in doubled up situations, a lot of times there's a lot of people living in the house. It could be 8 people in a 2-bedroom house. I've seen that a lot in TISD. So we want to look for those type of situations, talk to the kid. If you suspect homelessness, what I would recommend is you go talk to either your wonderful principal or your counselor and get them to look and see if the student's already coded as homeless. If they are, then see about things that y'all can do at the campus. If they're not, then your principal or counselor will call me, and then I will call the family and see if I can identify them or not. The reason why this is so important in Temple is we have over 250 students already right now, October 31st. And that's more than we had last year. Last year, at the end of the year, we only had 225 students. So we already have more than last year. So that's why it's so important. So whenever you think about a homeless student, really think about some of the things that they're going through. And Ms. Thomas is going to share with you a video that you can watch, and it's just a quick 4-minute video for you to look and see what are some things that they go through. So that way it'll help you look and see.
Destination is on the limit. We had an incident where I had spent, I think, close to $400 in groceries, and something made the host family upset, made the woman of the house upset, and we ended up having to leave and left over $400 worth of groceries there because I wasn't able to take them with us. When we're asked to leave, normally I contact anybody that's close to me, that's close in this area, and I'll ask them, can we crash on? I currently couldn't afford to move into my own place on my own. The biggest issue is always coming up with the security deposit and things such as that. You have to have a deposit for electric, deposit for water, deposit for gas. There's just a number of deposits that get added on top of each other. And it would cost me almost $2,000 to move into my own place. And I just couldn't afford that. at this time. The kids that I have, they're pretty great kids, pretty resilient. They've been through a lot even before we lost our house. We've been through so many deaths and losses in our family. So before we got in this situation, we actually moved a family in with us because they lost their place. And so the kids have been on both ends of it. And they're just really loving and amazing.
This is all the kids' uniforms we just have here already. So we just wake up in the morning, all the uniform that we get, the school supplies, all the crayons, and all the school supplies that we have in here. At first it was really uncomfortable because we're like sardines packed in a little like thing, but then you get a little used to it, but there's still like problems, like the toilet gets clogged up, or there's the clothes is like, it gets dirty and you have to keep washing and washing it. Just like, we run out of food really quickly because we eat. There's a lot of us in here, and or it gets too hot, or we can't all fit in the car, or stuff like that. It's just like there's too many people in a little space. It rains, well, yeah, something's gonna get wet, or you have to go. We all have to go inside there, and it's like, oh, and then the mud and all that. It gets gross. And,
Getting to the bus stop.
Getting to the bus stop because we have to go all the way over there. We turn on the aircon because it's really hot in there, and we just leave it on. We get the blankets out of our truck. It's like a giant suitcase because it doesn't work, and we just lay them on the floor right there. We have to like sweep, and then we have to lay them on the floor, and then we have like a little like, I don't know, like foam mattress, and we put it right there, and we all like me, I sleep there, he sleeps there. I sleep there, he sleeps there. The twins, they sleep on top of the bed with my mom, and then my baby brother sleeps there, the littlest one, he sleeps there on the floor with me, and these two, they sleep with my grandparents in that little space up there. So it's like they sleep on the floor, but my grandparents sleep on the mattress. But when I graduate, I want to go to college, and I want to study forensic science. I want to be like a forensic anthropologist. That's like a real job. But my dream job is to become like a music producer and work with music. But that's like one in a million for some weird. But a real job that I want to get is forensic anthropology.
I want to be a social worker for child services because I think all kids should have help because not every person has the same advantage as others do. So I would help the kids, have problems and issues. So I think since I've already been through that, I know what it is. So I want to be a social worker for to help the children and parents in need, like for programs and stuff like that, so they can get help. It's because I think everybody should be happy in this world. Talk to their students to know. Like, if they see an issue, just to talk to them, to not, think it's a bad thing or they don't want to do it. It's just that there's problems.
Yeah.
They might seem happy in school. They might look happy, but at their house, they have problems. They type this to any person.
Like, we act happy at school, but the teachers see us like good kids. My teachers see me as a good kid. But they don't really know the life that I lived in. Only my choir teacher knows because he came to drop me off once over here. I was like, oh, yeah, that's my house. That's fine.
Like, us poor people, I guess that's a good thing, being poor. Like, I don't want nothing no more because being poor, we see everything, like, oh, we need to take care of it. So, like, we clean and we appreciate what we have.
Because I don't really care what anyone says. Like, you wouldn't survive 2 days in my shoes anyway. So why do I even care what you say?
Like, it goes through this year, comes out through the other one. We don't waste our time on that. But it's just like their words. We don't care what they say. We don't care what no one says because we know we're gonna be someone in life. So the day that we're coming out with a diploma and they're still stuck there, not passing, who's gonna be better, them or us? If we lower ourselves to them, we're just gonna cause problems, and we can just walk away from the situation, ignore them.
It's not that hard.
And just look at them and ignore them. Like, if you ignore them, they're gonna be the stupid one.
What will happen is if they know that we're here, they will evict them because he only wants 2 people because it's a small mobile. but they're making me a favor to be here because I don't have any other way of going where without no income, no job, no car, with all these children, and unable to get housing because they gave me a letter for housing, but because I don't have ID from Texas.
I think the 4-year-old understands because he's always telling me, like, I want to go home. I want to go home. And it's hard to explain to him that we don't have a home. So, I just try to tell them, like, this is our home, like, wherever we're at that moment. So, we were staying in an apartment, but I just couldn't come up with the money anymore. And we were evicted. That's how we ended up homeless. We were staying at a park, and it was out in the open, and it's not the best part of town to stay at, for an adult, and especially not for a child. My kids are 3, 4, and 10. The 3 and 4 are boys, and the 10-year-old's a little girl. I didn't want to stay out in the open, so we ended up going to the abandoned house, and we actually lived there before, so that's why I chose that house. And I guess the people that were going in and out had left the back door open, so it was kind of easy to go into there, and there was no water, no light. We lived in the kitchen area of that abandoned house, and like all day, like whatever my kids ate at school, that was the last meal for the day. I mean, I had got assistance like the SNAP program, which is the food stamps, but it kind of goes by fast. The food would go rotten, or the ants would get in it. We just had just a few like uniforms for my kids for school, their backpacks, and my purse, like with everyday material like toiletries or whatever. I would like wash my kids' clothes by hand every day. I would like get water from the neighbor and stuff like that. But somebody ended up calling the cops on us, and the cops forced us to leave because if I was able to break into that house to get my kids in, there's no telling who else could break into that house. They were able to find us a place to stay for the night. The only thing was that shelter wasn't like a permanent living situation. So we had to find somewhere else to stay. And through a friend of the family, we were able to stay in a room, but it was just one little room, and it had light, but and water in the yard and stuff. But the restroom was outside, so we would have to take a shower outside, and have to use the restroom outside too. I felt like we were stepping on eggshells, because I didn't have nowhere else to go. But at the end, just enough was enough. Whatever was next for us, it was, we were going to be okay, even though we didn't know what it was going to be. But, that we didn't have to go through that anymore. Don't judge somebody, if you don't know their situation. Like, unless you've been there, it's hard. It's not something I do for fun, to have my family just jumping around from house to house or having them suffer. It's not that I don't want to work or something. It's just, it's a lot still.
Okay, so your action step for this more is to think about and reflect on from the perspective of a student who may be homeless, and let's specifically target multiple families living in a home, what are their specific needs and what do you think their emotional, social, and educational experience might be like, given that there may be 8, 10, 12 people living in a small space? So you can email me that, and we hope you have a great Scotty day. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Miss Vestal.
Thank you.